My soldier for the project was James P. Parker. James P. Parker was born on July 30th, 1832 in Londonderry, Vermont. Later on in his life, he became a farmer in Londonderry and married Caroline Parker. Soon after that, James became a private in the Vermont 7th Infantry, Company G. On this map is where the places that the Vermont 7th Infantry fought. One battle James fought in was the Battle of Baton Rouge, which was a ground and naval battle located in East Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on August 5th, 1862. James P. Parker survived the Civil War and came home to his family and returned to his older occupation, farming. Later on, when James was 47 years old, on May 27, 1880, James died at home of a disease called dropsy drowsy. One of the most popular occupations in Vermont was farming, which James was also a farmer. As you can see in this painting, there is a farmer shoveling hay with a pitchfork. All of the farming work was done by hand because there was no machinery to do the work for you. Families usually got most of their supplies from a Yankee peddler, which was a guy that would come around with a wagon full of goods, and families would trade with the peddler for stuff such as food and clothing. An alternative was to walk 10 miles into town on your bare feet to a market to get your supplies. Schoolhouses were usually very small, and all grade levels would be taught by a single teacher in the same building. Since there was only one teacher, the students would have to teach each other how to read, write, and to do math. Also, since the walk from school to home was so long, students would have to stay overnight in the schoolhouse. In one sentence of his diary, it says, "Taking it easy all day, church in the a.m." Church and religion was a huge part of the people's lives that lived in the 1800s. Soldiers would pray before they would go into battle and every night. Even at home, all the townspeople would get together in church and would pray every night for their loved ones to come home safely. Camp life in the Civil War was at times brutal. Due to the harsh weather conditions, cold or hot, caused for uncomfortable sleeping conditions. At times, soldiers would also go hungry because they weren't getting fed enough. And they would always write to their loved ones in camp saying they were missing them. Also, soldiers would have to pack and unpack their tents to travel from place to place to find their next campsite. In this picture right here, it shows a unit doing a drill. These drills would prepare soldiers for battle during the time of the Civil War. Soldiers would have to undergo these drills every day to make sure they were well prepared for their battle. There was a lot of gore in the Civil War that soldiers would have to endure, as you can see in this picture of soldiers burying dead bodies. They would see several of their fellow soldiers be shot or killed. If your soldier was able to survive the Civil War, they would be faced with awful flashbacks and memories of dead bodies and their fellow soldiers being shot. The end. Thank you for watching my movie on the Civil War.